Welcome to the Spiritual Awakening with Shaz podcast, where we unlock the power within and navigate the journey of your self-discovery together. I'm Shaz, your spiritual mentor and life coach, here to help you tap into your inner guidance system and manifest your best life. Whether you're just beginning your spiritual journey or looking to deepen your practice, this podcast offers insights, techniques, and inspiration to elevate your consciousness and transform your reality. Get ready to shine your light and embrace your true potential. Remember, the answers are inside you. Let me be your guide on earth. Welcome back to the Spiritual Awakening podcast with Shaz. I'm your host, Shaz. Today, we're going to talk about a topic that many empathic women struggle with, and that's the feeling of overwhelmed with all the energy around us and the emotions associated with it. As a beginning empath, a lot of people don't even realize that the heaviness they feel, the discomfort and the disruption in their environment is all about the energy of other people rather than what's going on inside of them. And because of that and the lack of maintenance that they have within their own energy environment, they start to become overwhelmed, depressed, anxious, and suffer symptoms of problems that aren't really anything that they can define. They become scared of going into shopping centers. They don't like being around loud noises. They don't like being anywhere near people that are fighting or are angry. They find walking into crowded situations very troublesome. And it's all based in the simple fact that their empath is not maintained or very well connected to themselves. I used to have these problems back many years ago when loud noises would set me off to the point that I would have anxiety and panic attacks for no particular reason. It was that disruption to the physiology of the body that created internal issues within the body. I would have a racing heart. I would feel that I was suffocating and I couldn't breathe. And different scenarios, if I walked into places and people were fighting or yelling and screaming at each other, I would panic. And it was years of childhood memories and trauma that were buried down within me that caused these reactions. From learning to read the room as a child, really being aware of who was in that room, what was the environment like, what was the energy exchange between the adults and the children within the space. Like even back in the playground, my empath would get very sensitive. I could pick who was going to get into a fight long before that fight came anywhere near into the present situation, just based on the energy around it. And that leads to deep overwhelm. And it is a problem where it makes you start to question what is going on, who are you? And being predominantly women, and there are a lot of men that do suffer with this too, but I find more women are much more sensitive to it than the male counterparts on the empathic spectrum. They just go internally and they start blaming themselves for things that are not their problem. They start owning responsibility for what's going on energetically around them. They start withdrawing from public occasions and not going to family events or going to large like music festivals or large events of people or outdoor activities where there are lots of people and the energy is unable to be discern between their own and everybody else's. So they start to withdraw into themselves. And it is just a symptom of the overwhelm of not having any clarity of how to disconnect the empathic energy that you're feeling, how to step back from other people's emotions, and how to bring yourself back into balance and equilibrium. As an emotionally sensitive person or an empath, you are going to feel other people's emotions, especially in the workplace. It's where we spend most of the time around our colleagues and other people, depending on the type of work that you're doing. Waitresses, service people, customer service people, whether it's telephone or in person, anyone that's in the service industry, when they're empathic and they're really attuned to other people's energy, will have trouble maintaining that. And if you don't learn simple tools and techniques of how to cut the cords and clear that energy away from you, it becomes a massive burden. And that massive burden turns into somewhat, and sometimes, not all the time in any way, shape or form, but quite often it will turn into mental health issues of where you're bombarded with feelings that you can't define or can't understand what they're about. You feel overwhelmed by simple tasks. You will function high in your job and everything will be fine at work, and then you go home and you just fall apart. You are energetically drained. You are having the life sucked out of you through lack of energy maintenance. One of the impacts of it as you absorb all this energy, if you don't process it through, cut those cords, call your energy back to yourself and reset from your own vibrational frequency, over time, that heaviness will create insomnia, stomach and gut issues, headaches, migraines, anxiety and panic attacks, depression and despair. It will highlight grief when it comes up. It will make you oversensitive to everything people say and do. And it's not a great environment for someone who's beginning the journey, who doesn't understand why sometimes it can be all of a sudden that your empath wakes up. Other people, it's just a common occurrence and they're not fully aware of what's going on. And it's the maintenance of that empathy that becomes highly important for you. There is no reason to feel drained. There is no reason to feel panicked at the thought of going to grab some groceries. There's no reason to stop yourself from going to experience concerts and sporting events and high traffic events based on the fear of what you're going to pick up from other people. This is all something that you can maintain and clear. And the best part about it is maintaining your empath and clearing the energy is so very, very simple. These are some simple daily techniques that you can do. Everybody can cut their cords. If you have your hands, literally just slide them down in front of you, cut off their energy and disconnect. Every person that you meet throughout the day, you create an energy cord to. Every person that you serve, if you're in the service industry, you create a cord to. Every time you go and have conversations or walking around the shopping center, you create a cord to. That energy lingers, and it's like having frequency stuck here, there, everywhere, and it drains the vibrational energy out of your physical body. These things need to be cut off. If you're very conscious and aware of what you're doing and how you're going about your day, like I am, if I go to a shopping center, I will cut my cords as I walk out because I don't want to take everybody's energy home with me. If I'm doing a group event, the minute it's over, I will cut the cords and renew myself. I have tools. There is selenite crystals that you can use to smudge and wipe the aura. Archangel Michael can help you bring his magic light of sort of light down, and he will cut those energy cords for you. You call your energy back. You disconnect from the other people. And we need to do this disconnection and cord cutting function daily. It will disconnect and cut the cords to our dearest family members and everybody closest to us, but that will not create disconnect because those energy cords, after they've cut off after every event or each day, when they reconnect, the first place we reconnect any energy cord from is of pure love and serenity. So you want to have them reconnect from peace, especially if you ever experience an argument with someone, a fight, or just major disagreements, any toxic behaviors, anything like that. You want to cut those energy cords and scrub your aura, reset it, and reattach it from love. One of the great practices that you can also do is a simple process called Ho'oponopono. That's Dr. Joe Vitale is the creator with Dr. Len. Can't think of the other gentleman's name that he does it with off the top of my head, but I learned it through Joe Vitale, and it's the practice of cutting those cords and saying 4 phrases, and those phrases are, please forgive me, which is, please forgive me, I forgive you. It's the practice of forgiveness. Thank you for teaching me for what it is. I'm sorry for what I've done to you or what you've done for me. And then I love you. And then it's after you cut those cords, you reconnect energetically from a place of love. And Joe Vitale calls it clearing, and it's the process of clearing and releasing the problem. So each interaction that you have, most of us, especially empaths, will hold on to that interaction and hold on to that burden until it ruminates in the mind, going round and round and round until you become overwhelmed, drain, run down, suffer burnout, get to points in your life where you can't function. This is all oversensitivity to energy that is easily maintained. Physical symptoms such as fatigue, not sleeping, insomnia, and all of those things, having the mind run through so bad that you can't find that clarity, can all be eased by simply cutting your cords each day, calling your energy back to yourself, practicing Ho'oponopono. If you put these practices into place, you'll notice a vast difference in the way that you interact with people. Ho'oponopono is an amazing practice, and I highly recommend it to everyone, but especially mothers if you're having a confrontation or an argument with your children. Cut the cords, do the clearing, and then reconnect from a place of love where you're both connected from love, because that forgiveness of you forgive them and they forgive you, it's a double side. That's what Ho'oponopono means, is the process of to make it right twice. You're making it right for you and you're making it right for them. And when you do that, you can create from a place of love, which is a place of acceptance, of understanding, of peace, of calm. And that is where you are able to then negotiate better deals. If you're ever having a bad day or you come across someone having a bad day, for example, I've been into, like, sometimes I haven't had them done lately, but I like to go get my nails done. And every now and then you can go in and you can meet someone that's having a bad day. And if they're in an angry vibration and they're filing your nails, they cut you and that hurts, right? I don't want to get injured and have my nails ripped raw around the edges based on their vibration. So I've practiced cutting that cord, doing the 4 mantras, reconnecting that cord, and then you find that they calm down and they're gentle. And then when you ask them how are they doing, they are able to articulate what's going on within them, express their emotions freely, and find that it isn't as bothersome as before. It is also something that I personally like to do if I walk into an energy space that I feel is full of anger or despair, guilt, blame, shame, any of the negative vibrations. I will walk in there purposefully, set an intention to cut all the energy of everyone in there, sever all the vibrational frequency, do the Ho'oponopono prayer to clear the energy space. It is not something you just need to do for your own personal energy. It is something that you can do to create peace within your mind in any environment that you choose to do it. And when you understand that your overwhelm is not even yours, or the energy you're feeling is based on other people, you can create the space for your own clear thinking and the inner peace that you desire. It is such a strength to be an empath. A lot of people consider it a weakness because you are oversensitive, over emotional. You cry at TV ads. You get upset when somebody's upset. You feel very happy when other people are happy. You feed off other people's emotions depending on where they are on the emotional scale. And that makes your sensitivity a superpower. You can tell, the good part with empaths is we can always tell when someone's lying to you about their feelings. You can see through the mask that people put on in front of them when they're looking like everything's rosy on the outside. You can get to the depth of what's going underneath. I had a client today, and the depth of the energy that I could feel within them wasn't a great space, but it was wanting confirmation that what they were thinking, what they were feeling was actually the pathway that they were on. And that really helps you to understand it. And as an empath, you'll be quite often called in to negotiate and describe feelings for people. You will know how other people feel faster than they do based on your connection. And that is a blessing in disguise. So always consider your empathy as a gift. It is only the curse that people like to describe it as when you don't maintain the empath. The good part is that, like this of any spiritual aspect of your spiritual connection to your guides, your communication with the universe, the communication and connection with your higher self, you always have the ability to turn it on and off. There is a light switch that you can create. It's just a visualization of a light switch, and you turn it on when you want it on and you turn it off when you want it off. It is one of the greatest tools that I have for my own repertoire, and I use it often, especially like we recently went through Christmas. Who wants to go to the shops during December? It's a nightmare. There's no parking. It's crowded. You have miles of wait. But when I turn off my empathic energy and I don't feel into the deep highs, like the major highs of the excitement, or the despair and the very, very low lows, because there is a whole gamut of everyone on that emotional scale around those holiday periods, because it is highlighted based on what your circumstances in life is. So using the energy maintenance factor, and especially if you are in that service industry that I talked about, or work with large groups of people, you want to be able to turn that on and off so that you're not overwhelmed constantly. Overwhelm leads to burnout. Burnout leads to chronic fatigue, insomnia, and then disease. These are symptoms that you want to make sure that you're maintaining for self so you don't create disease within the body. It is something that you can master. The ability to attune to other people's energy with permission and to understand where they're coming from really helps for people, especially in the psychic industry or the coaching industry. I have a greater advantage over many other coaches because I can tell when you're telling me the true root cause of what your problems are, what's totally going on within you, and how you're feeling at a deep emotional core. Because if it's incongruent, the energy doesn't lie. I have people try and lie to my face and say, oh, everything's fine. And the energy is telling me, like, danger, Will Robinson, there's massive things going on here. I will always trust that over the fake smile, over the mask that's over everybody, over the essence of hiding the self. I look and attune to the energy, the vibrational frequency that comes from your auric field and from your body. It is so important for you to do that. In doing that, you also have to maintain energetic boundaries. I don't personally, it's a very strong, very strict rule for me. I don't read other people's energy without permission. I can delve into it when you ask me to, when you give me permission to go beyond the barrier, but I certainly don't go around reading everyone in the shopping center. God, if I had to go and read everyone's energy in mine, I'd go stir crazy. I have enough stuff worrying about what I'm going through, let alone delving deep into the worry of other people. As newly awakened empaths, they don't know how to master that control, and they will automatically pick up on all those energies and frequencies of others. You actually don't have permission to do that. And if you continue to do that, you will then absorb that energy for transmutation. It is how you can end up absorbing and having to clear energy for other people, surrogating for it, taking it on board, doing like ancestral healing, all those sort of things. It is not your responsibility as an empath to absorb it. It is there to highlight, identify, and help transmute it based on what your job is, whether you are acting as the healer, the conduit, or just the awakener of it. It is up to the person who owns the energy to do the deep inner work. That is why you don't want to go around and read everybody's energy and look at their auric field and read their spiritual senses without permission. For me, it's a massive invasion of privacy. It's an ethical dilemma. It's mine and mine alone. I teach that you don't read energy or people without permission. It's the way that I want it. Many people do. It's up to you. I've learned karmic consequences by doing that. I don't want to attract that. And I also have strong boundaries within self. Nobody can read my energy or tap into my auric field or vibration unless I give you permission. That is something that you, over time, through your spiritual awakening and self-development and psychic development journeys, can learn for yourself. So if you ever want to do this, a simple, very simple technique to visualize and protect yourself is imagine that you are surrounded by a white energy bubble. And in that energy, it allows you to connect and interact with other people, but it's also shielding you from anything adverse or totally overwhelming. You also have the ability to have that light switch. Just picture a light switch on the wall and you turn it on when you want to activate your empath and feel things at a deep level, and you turn it off when you don't. When you walk into crowded places, turn it off so you are not having the life sucked out of you. Empathic energy is highly attractive to everybody. They are high vibrational people at their core. They have a very beautiful essence, and it's something that you can see. Many, many people are attracted to the empathic energy, and then they want to tap into that energy and they will suck you dry. This is why you want to maintain and cut those energy cords off. You've all probably had experiences where you've gone and met someone, can even be a stranger, and they want to dump their life story on you. And all of a sudden, they feel like $1,000,000 because they've tapped into your frequency, your energy, your compassion, your empathy, and your nurturing skills. And they feel like they're the energizer and all of their stress leaves them. But that stress ends up transferred to you. You don't need to then own it. And as an empath, too many people end up doing that and just cut the cords, practice the Ho'oponopono, get rid of it, and reset your energy back to your neutral, whatever that may be, ground your energy back into the earth. As you visualize the light surrounding you, this light bubble will protect you from total overwhelm. The empath is there and it will never be fully shut down, especially when it's important to you and your soul. It will always activate. When I have my light switch turned off, if something is highly important, it's about my safety or it can cause fear or danger to me, trust me, they will break through every barrier known to man. You will always be connected. Too many people think that if you turn your empath off, that you're going to be disconnected from source energy and bad things will happen. Bad things will happen if you stay connected to it. You don't need to know and pry into things that you don't need to be involved in. And sometimes if you do overstep that boundary and you pry into situations you're not meant to know about, you don't want to absorb karma. It is one of the factors of life that I learned about 5-6 years ago. We naturally want to go and help people and interfere on things, especially when we can have some foresight into it and think that we have that foresight so that we can change the outcome of it. But if you disrupt somebody else's karma, you are going to absorb it for self, and that is not an outcome that anybody ever wants to take. As an empath, you will have lots of thoughts, lots of feelings, and lots of emotions. You need to maintain and understand them. So therefore, you need to talk about them in some way. I do it through journaling, but you can talk about it in the mirror. You can talk about it. I do lots of talking about what I'm feeling in the car, in the rear vision mirror, to get the energy off my chest. But there has to be a process where what's inside comes out. Letter writing, journaling, and scribe, automatic writing are great ways to alleviate that tension, that energy. It has to come out. Also, if you feel totally overwhelmed or absorb too much negative energy and you feel it hit in your body, just say sometimes I get stabbing marks in my back, or I feel a stitch or something in my gut that I know is not physical. It's something that's just energetically absorbed. You can then highlight that energy, draw the energy into place. So just say I get hit in my heart because I'm talking to someone and they're suffering deep grief, and you can feel their pain, you can feel their emotions. It makes you want to cry. I don't want to absorb that and keep that. I will then visualize that energy. It will form like a bubble or a pain point in my chest. I will draw that energy in and it will create an energy ball. Through that energy ball, I will suck that energy inside and make it a ball that takes all the tentacles, all the arms, all the strands, all the strings, everything of that energy turns around in a circle inside of me. And then when I feel that it's gathered all the pain, and you notice because the pain's gone, right? So you activate just a visualization of this energy ball sucking all the power of it in. So all the darkness, all the grief, all the overwhelm, all the despair, all the negative vibration, you put it in this energy ball, and then you bubble it up and pop it out the crown. And when it pops out the crown, put it in a pink energy bubble of love and allow it to float off to the universe for transmutation, and then cut the cords, because that will disconnect it all for you, or cut the cords through the crown, waving your hands through the crown chakra to disconnect it out of your body. You want to be able to remove that energy from your physical being. Otherwise, it stays and lingers. And if it stays and lingers without processing or healing, you can do it through that energy transference. I can go get a black obsidian crystal, put it on my chest. The crystal will suck it in and take it out. Whatever way or method that you remove that energy from your body, you need to find out what works for you to maintain that energy. One of the other things is when you get into deep overwhelm, or if you feel panicked and you're becoming anxious, I find that many years ago when I was out on a public beach, it was the anniversary of my nan's death, and it was a very dark, heavy time for me, and I was in panic mode. It was not a good time of my life. And I was walking along the beach, just trying to have a nice day. I was grieving my nan, and I had all this emotion stuck inside of me, and I didn't know how to get rid of it. So I was walking along, talking to God and praying and visualizing all the energy floating out of me. I had a tornado going through my energy. And just up the street, they were doing construction. And in this construction, something metal on metal dropped. Some beam or something crashed. And if you know the big bang or the crash of metal on metal, of that really loud sound, well, that set my body off. So I heard this sound, my body jolted and my heart started racing. I couldn't breathe. I was in the middle of nowhere and I'm having a panic attack. And let me tell you, it scared the shit out of me. I didn't know what to do. And I'm there and I'm trying to breathe. And I started doing this. And I just started to play the drums on my chest. And after about 10 seconds, I started to breathe a bit easier. I was away from my car. I didn't have anything on me and I was struggling to breathe. And at the time, I was still suffering asthma pretty bad and I couldn't get energy or oxygen into my lungs. So I started to do this. And as I started to feel better, I moved down to my tummy because there were butterflies in my tummy. There was stress in my tummy. I was in fight or flight mode and I was having a meltdown. And as I moved down, I just started to play the drums on my body. At the time, I didn't realize that that's a physiological disruption to the body. It's a somatic response that disrupts the energy and the physiology of the body to take you out of that panic mode. Just through that simple process, I was able to calm down my nervous system, breathe, focus, and walk the 1.5 kilometers back to my car. At the time, there was also a gentleman on the beach and all I remember about him is he had a red hat on and a blue shirt. I literally couldn't see his face. I think he had sunglasses on and he noticed I wasn't too well, but he also knew not to spook me. And he asked me if it was okay. And I said, not really. He asked me where I was going. I said, my car's over there. And he said, would you like me to keep you company? And he gratefully walked with me to my car. And as soon as I got to my car, he said, are you okay? I said, yes, I'll be good now. I opened my car door, I sat in my seat and I was able to breathe and get my breath. I got out my Ventolin and took some Ventolin to calm down to fully get my breath back into self. And I sat there and continued to play the drums on my chest. And I slowly came back into my body. I slowly started to be able to breathe and go through breathing routines that I knew. When you're in the middle of a panic attack and an asthma attack, breath is very hard to come by. I couldn't have just stopped and done the breath work. I had to break the physiological pattern to get my body out of that fight or flight mode in the somatics energy within the body. This is something that can happen as an empath feels overwhelmed. I was overwhelmed by the situation. I was far from home in a place that's nowhere near anyone. I was alone at the time. I was stressed. I was grieving. I had everything going wrong. So I totally understand how overwhelm can get to you within the body, how it can shut you down, and how it can make you review your life right before your eyes. And this is when I fully became aware of the energy maintenance, of where I started to learn my Ho'oponopono, where I started to cut my cords daily, where I would use my selenite crystal every single day without pause. I still do it. Nowadays, I just do it with my hands. It's an energy thing that I do. I shut down when I go to bed. I cleanse the aura, get rid of it, call my energy back, read for a bit, pass out cold, and I sleep like the dead until the next morning. And it's wonderful. This is something that you can all master too. But as an energy empath, you do not want to absorb other people's energy. You do not want to put yourself in situations where you are taking on their frequency and not learning how to disconnect it from your own body. You do not want to create physiological problems that lead to disease. It is in your power to realign, reestablish, and ground your energy. All you've got to do is just focus on pulling your energy down through your body and grounding it through the earth and refilling your cup with the universal blessing. And that's just by drawing the energy down, golden white light through the top of your head, and it will bring you back to center. There are many somatic ways that you can come out of panic, come out of anxiety naturally, and redefine and slow down the reactions within your body if you allow yourself to do so. It's all about your mindset. Being an empath is a beautiful gift, and if you maintain it well, connect wisely, and use it for the greatest gift of connection that you can have, empaths are massive healers. The difference between a clairsentient person who just feels energy and an empath who really absorbs it and understands it is the empath wants to alter and shift the energy. They want to heal it. They are healers at their core. And that's why they're so compassionate. They are the best listeners in the world because you can just talk to them. They don't even have to answer you back or give you resolution. Just be there for the energy to transmute with you. So it's about you ensuring that you're not owning what they're telling you. It's just there for you to help them get it out, remove it from the ethers, cut off the cords, and energetically process it through. These are all different aspects that you can learn too. And as an empath, don't settle for overwhelm. Don't allow yourself get into anxiety. Don't take on the burdens of everybody else's energy, frequency, and vibration. Maintain your energy. Cut your cords daily. Call your energy back. If you get stuck and you'd like to have more instruction, on my website, www.shazsini.com, on the blogs, I have blogs of how to cut the cords, how to call your energy back to you, how to ground your energy. Or you can join my psychic development circles or join an online program with me where I'll teach you further depths of knowledge about this. But these are skills that every empath needs to understand. Overwhelm is an unhappy place. You do not need to feel drained and worn out. If you continue to be burdened by emotions, by feelings of other people, and energy that is not yours, it will finally turn into disease, and nobody deserves that. You are worth the effort that it takes to cut that energy, practice the Ho'oponopono, re-ground your energy in reality, and let go of what's not yours. If it is yours, work through your emotions, identify them, and then go and look at them and find out what did they teach you and how did you grow and evolve through those experiences. And then do the forgiveness and release work, because you deserve to find peace, happiness, joy, and love. And you can't do that while you're carrying burdensome emotions that do bring you down. Overwhelm is just the non-ability to think or function because there's too much energy coming at you that you can't discern where you are. Cut the energy off. Create your little beautiful bubble of serenity. Ground back into the earth. Breathe deep and pull the energy down from the universe to recharge and settle your mind. And watch how much difference it makes in your world. It is up to you how you want to choose to go ahead with this. As I said, if you truly get stuck and you want help, book a free clarity call and let me give you some one-on-one tips of how to do it. Come and join a class or go into spiritual mentorship if you're ready to take that full step to learn everything from the ground up. It is all up to you. Nobody can fix your energy for you. Being an empath is a massive gift when you understand it, learn how to maintain it, and master your energy. You're the only one that can. So remember, the power to shift from overwhelm to peace always lies within you. It takes a tiny bit of effort, 5 minutes a day. Everybody can do that. It is not something that you have to spend quality and huge amounts of time on. It is something that is very quick, very easy, very fast, and you become so aligned and peaceful. It's amazing. Give yourself permission to really feel into that and own the skills and gifts for what it is. Until next time, keep shining, everyone. Thanks for listening to the Spiritual Awakening with Shaz podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe down below so you don't miss an episode. You can also follow us on Facebook with the links below. Until next time, trust your intuition and let your spirit soar.